In the previous section, we were talking a little bit about trying to successfully put communicative language teaching, or CLT, into junior high school classes. And there are certain elements and characteristics of courses that are overlooked. Uh, Things that we might all agree on, but it's easy to forget in the lesson planning and the execution stages. Some of the contents of successful courses is to make the content relevant to the students' lives. Um, Students, if they're 13, 14, 15 years old, it should be age appropriate. Talk about their school clubs, the sports teams they might be involved in, their favorite subjects, their families, their friends, and things that they like to do every day, things they like to do on their weekend. And by putting those things in there, because bringing the bringing authentic English closer to home. You know that some of the topics in the textbook tend to go so far away that they have very little relevance, and that's the relevance is very important. Another thing that I think is overlooked is and it might be a pride issue. Japanese teachers do not promote or encourage outside assessment of the students' English. And what I mean by outside assessment is assessing the students by someone other than the person who's teaching them. And there are ways to do this in Japan. For example, if you encourage your students to take the standard ACAN examinations, the step test, if they're junior high school, the fifth grade, the fourth grade, the third grade, whatever level they might be at. The United Nations has a test, the Kokuren-eiken. There are speech contests. There might be English poetry contests. There might be essay contests. And the teachers need to let the students be assessed by outside people that don't know them or are not involved in the course planning. And there's not a whole lot of encouragement of that. And it might be just being overlooked. It could be pride issues. We don't know. But it does harm the students. Um, but other things the teachers aren't training the students to do is offering students means to find answers. In junior high school I worked at, I was very surprised because there are many students don't have to buy their own English-Japanese dictionary. And I remember when my son went through junior high school, he had to buy Japanese English, English Japanese. You know, I think he had to buy 2 dictionaries. This school they don't have to buy them, but they have hundreds, literally hundreds of dictionaries, full dictionaries that the students can use, and they're locked away in a storage cabinet. And if there is a special activity, and basically only the third year students, the ninth grade students, the third year of high school, or junior high school, the 14, 15-year-olds might have a project that they use the dictionary, so they'll go into a special library room, and then dictionaries will be provided on the desk, and they'll use them. But at the lower levels of junior high school, they don't even use the dictionaries. And so it's not offering any means for the students to find the answers on their own. For example, when I teach children's English conversation, we have a nice Sesame Street, or I think it's Let's Go now, Let's Go picture dictionary that's bilingual. It's just, you know, they can have a lot of fun with. And I teach them ways that they can find information on the internet, safe sites, of course, posters and things, and I'll send them out into the room to look for hints to find the answer. And there's very little of that. It's always, oh, it's got to come from the book. It's got to come from the teacher. It's got to come from the workbook, and it's not, that's just not realistic, I think. Um, and in order to put a lot of these improvements in, of course, a teacher's going to need to be organized. One of the things that I do to make my class more communicative is the first part of the class, if I'm invited to do so. Now keep in mind that I only take my marching orders from a Japanese teacher of English. I've created a self-introduction framework because I figure that's going to be a way that a non-English speaking principal would assess this is a good English speaker. It's kind of like a to cover my ass sort of thing. And so I'll have a worksheet that says hello everyone at the top, says thank you, goodbye everyone at the bottom, and in between all the review patterns that would be normal in a self-introduction, like hello, my name is Taro, I'm 14 years old, I go to this junior high school, I live in Osaka, thank you, goodbye, so that's kind of a stilted way to put communication into the classroom. Now I'm going to go into something that's a little bit academic, but it's very relevant. There is a term called communicative competence, and everyone's definition is a little bit different. And I like the definition that Swain and Canal came up with in 1980. Communicative competence is broken into three areas. The first area being grammatical competence, which includes the words, the structure of the sentence, and also includes the phonetics, morphology, things like that. That's all included in the first category of grammatical competence, which the schools in Japan are actually teaching with what they perceive as success. The other part is the socio-linguistic competence. Is this English right for the right situation? And do you change the way you're speaking based on the rank of the person? And, is it culturally appropriate to have this type of interaction? And, I could go into more detail, but just to identify it. But what they don't teach, which is just exasperating and frustrating to me, is the strategic competence, which I really like. Strategic competence. What do you do when your grammar or your structure is limited and your communication between two people breaks down? What type of strategy do you use? Do you say, I don't know? Could you say that again? All the classroom English or basic patterns for understanding, like please say it again, they don't teach things like that. They might put them up on the wall as a decoration, but I mean actually encourage students to use that. And strategic competence is very necessary because that's the navigation of the conversation. And these things, the grammatical competence, the sociolinguistic competence, and the strategic competence, they all have to work together, and you can't ignore one and just stick and expect to have authentic communication.